You're certainly familiar with this situation. You're currently working on a project or you're about to start a new one, and you know that you will have to measure its progress. However, you're not sure which indicators to prioritize. It's also possible that you don't see the relevance of inspecting this project for various reasons. Do we have the time and resources to inspect ourselves? When should we start inspecting and measuring our processes? What metrics should we keep an eye on? These are some of the questions that cross the minds of many teams at all levels. And this is precisely why it is so important to take the time to ask ourselves the right questions. Now, before we get into the analysis of potential solutions, it is important to clarify that the objective is greater than simply measuring output actions. We're talking about inspection and measurement of the global process in order to identify and address bottlenecks as early as possible and improve it. Remember, a performing team is one that communicates, collaborates, and trusts each other to achieve a common goal. From this comes the pillars of empiricism. Transparency, which means presenting the facts as they are. Inspection, in this context, not an inspection by an inspector or an auditor, but an inspection by each member of the team. And adaptation, which refers to continuous improvement, meaning the ability to adapt according to the results of the inspection. It is therefore essential to inspect ourselves in order to understand the current state of things, then adapt in order to achieve the team's goal. This self-assessment is as important as taking feedback from customers, as it ensures that value is delivered to both external and internal clients. The results? Faster and higher quality delivery, increased predictability, greater flexibility in the face of change, and better risk management. Simply put, inspecting and measuring yourself allows you to stabilize your workflow and then project yourself with more confidence. Today's actions matter and can affect tomorrow's deliveries. Several articles explaining how Axify can support the evolution of your processes are available in our knowledge base. Check it out using the link in the description of this video. So, to the question, when should we start inspecting and measuring our processes? We might answer that it is never too late to start inspecting ourselves. Technically, it's also never too early either. Of course, you should have at least some elements to inspect in order to begin this adventure, but it would be quite possible to analyze your processes at the beginning of a project or when you have a smaller team. Performance indicators are not only for large teams and companies. In the same spirit, it is quite possible that this need for inspection is in fact a need for change in the way you inspect yourself, thus adapting your working methods. There are many ways to inspect your processes, and just as many measures to observe. This implies that there is also a multitude of tools to collect and analyze data related to your team's performance. Opting for a turnkey solution is a great way to start your analysis, since you won't have to create your own charts and reports. A platform like Axify that integrates with your project management tools such as Jira or Azure DevOps synchronizes your data and presents initial analysis results in just a few minutes. This data will then be compared over time, highlighting trends and bottlenecks, so that, as a team, you can address them and adapt your work methodology more quickly. Ideally, this tool should also allow you to centralize various information, and not only the details related to the management of your projects. In addition to measuring the management aspect, Axify allows you to evaluate the execution of these projects by integrating with platforms such as GitLab or GitHub. This way, you can correlate your global cycle time data with actions related to your pull request, such as time for pickup and number of comments. This leads to the question, what metrics should we keep an eye on? This question is a bit more complex, as various needs correspond to various metrics. However, the SPACE framework highlights 5 angles to consider when we want to measure team performance: satisfaction and well-being, performance, activity, communication and collaboration, and efficiency. Axify addresses these points through various graphs, such as cycle time breakdown for the general system and the code review, number of activities between your team members, and the number of merge pull requests. In addition, these metrics are framework agnostic, making the solution flexible and easy to use as it reflects the results of your work structure. We invite you to refer to our multiple blog posts for more details on various topics. For example, this article written by an agile coach explains in a simple yet detailed way how to measure the quality of your development process. Again, you'll find the link in the description of this video. Check it out! Continuing on the topic of the SPACE framework, Let's not forget about satisfaction and well-being. This measure refers to the fulfillment and happiness of your developers, which correspond to the human axis of Axify. Here we can see the team's morale according to 5 categories: stress, motivation, inclusion, feeling of security, and alignment. In conclusion, opting for a centralized solution ensures that all the elements to measure the progress of your project and your team will be at your fingertips. With that much data presented transparently, it will be easy for you and your team to inspect and adapt your software engineering processes. Remember, what can be measured can be managed. These are just a few possible solutions, and we'd love to hear more about how you've dealt with this kind of situation. And if you're currently in that context, we'd be happy to discuss it with you and see how Axify can help you inspect and measure your processes. You have questions about the platform, or you would like to know more about a specific usage context? Contact us! You'll find our contact information and various resources in the description of this video. Stay tuned, your question could become the subject of a future Axify video.